Welcome to the Positive Pen Podcast, where your stories and soul work matters. Now let's dive in.
Okay, we're here.
Welcome, everybody. This is John Reynald, the Positive Pen. Welcome to another episode of Stories. I keep forgetting to turn that off. So, anyways,
I'm not seeing.
welcome to the podcast. Uh-oh, Linda.
Yeah.
Linda, you turn off the camera.
I turned it off.
Yeah.
Well, that's turned off. I pushed the camera, and it should be like it was. Is there anything else I can do?
You can exit out and come back in, and you'll be okay.
All
you
right.
Try that. Okay.
All right.
Tech support is always here. So thank you everybody for joining us today. We have a group. I don't know where she is.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Here I don't know. It's not. As soon as you changed it, it went away. I don't know why.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a hold of you. I'm going to remove.
They did come back. It was fine before.
Yeah.
What happened? Everyone else is here? Or?
Yeah, we're all here. I'm trying to figure out how I get you on.
Yeah. How did it go off? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, there's
Writer's
Linda, is your camera enabled on the bottom?
I'm not even seeing anything on the bottom. Before I saw everything, and I clicked on it for it to come on, because it was on before, right?
Yeah, you were on.
I saw you. Yeah.
But it doesn't. You hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
I don't know what happened to the cam. When you went off, we're going off and we're coming back on. I don't know what happened. What occurred? Should I go back out again and try it again, or?
Yeah. So on the bottom there'd be like cameras there.
I know there was all this stuff on the bottom, but it's not showing anything now.
So I suggest to go exit everything out and then come back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. How do I? Okay. Oh boy.
I would say maybe just leave and then come back in through the invite, right, John?
Okay. All right. I'm trying to get out. I don't know what to hit to get off. This, stories on air. Headshot leave. Okay. Are you sure you want to leave? Yes.
Okay. Well, sorry about all that, people. That was we were dealing with someone's camera and couldn't get enabled. So this happens here on live podcast. So we will work through this. As always, it's just technology sometimes. Anyways, the reason for this podcast, for everybody who's been here, we are trying to create a
see you all.
There we go. I think we found her. Nope, she's gone. Okay. So I guess we're gonna play a little bit game here between her and I hopefully. Yeah, there she was, and then she's gone. So this is a round table, and the discussion is we're talking about writing and stuff like that. And I thought it would be a really good thing to actually focus on that, and invited a bunch of writers from all over the platform. There's not a specific one. And the idea about this is talking about the authentic about writing, about the challenges of writing, the book promotions, anything that comes to topic, we'll talk about it here. First off, welcome everybody. We have Patricia, Emma, Nat, and Joe. If you're familiar with them or you're not following them, please do. And I'm John. And so what we want to talk about today is I want to bring up this thing happened today. There was one thing that I noticed. There was a creator that came on, and in 9 weeks, they blew up to over 20,000 subscribers. And their post was, I can't believe in 9 weeks I gotten 20,000 subscribers. And one of the things that it bothers me is that, you know, I've been on this platform for a while. Joe, you've been on this platform for a while. Growing that fast is pretty hard, I would assume. But so we were looking through this, and I was sharing this with Nat, and I kind of want to put it towards Patricia first. Like, when you came on Substack, what was the first thing that happened on, like, did you start growing right away, or was it taking time, or how did you build your audience?
Well, it started to take some time, but I was subscribing to everybody that I saw that looked interesting. Mm-hmm. And Substack told me that I couldn't subscribe to anymore. So they capped me at a subscription rate. So now I can follow, but I can't subscribe.
Oh,
wow. It's really strange.
I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So, Emma, how about you?
When I first came here, somebody had, I was using Blue Sky to type like 300 characters, because that's what you get on Blue Sky, little poems, kind of like haikus, but not haikus. And somebody told me about Substack, and I came into Substack and kind of abandoned Blue Sky because it was a larger format. And because I didn't know anything about it, I just subscribed to a few people, and I typically I grew slowly because I don't buy into this methodology of you subscribe to me and I'll subscribe to you. That's not what reading is about. That's reciprocity just for numbers. So I think I've grown to about 500 over the last 18 months, but I'm pretty judicious about, I'm going to read whoever I subscribe to. And I subscribe because I'm interested. And if people want to read my work, I do it. That's fine. I put it out there every day. So for me, really growth is about turning up every day, writing every day. So I post a poem every day, at least one poem every day. And it goes into people's feed, and they have the opportunity to subscribe if they like it. And I tend to prefer the organic method.
How about you, Joe? What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's all magic and, you know, wizardry. Yeah. You know, I came on, and the first 2 months I was kind of stagnant, and then I had one really great note that got me a lot of subscribers, and notes don't translate to readers. But there's no method, you know. We talked about this in that podcast you and I had. There is no method. There is no magic. And you can propose one, or you can write an article on one, but it just is when the magic hits, for lack of a better term. And it's finding your people, it's finding your audience, it's who you resonate with. And if you're as all over the place as I am, I don't have a core audience, because one day I'm on this, and the next day I'm on that, and I bounce all over the place. And I refuse to niche, another one of those words I hate. So that presents its own problems, but it is what it is. I mean, I've got a pretty substantial one, but how many did you say the other one had?
Well, within 9 weeks, 20,000.
Yeah, you know, come on. That's kind of suspicious to me. I mean, but that's just my suspicious side kicking in.
Well, we did some digging, right, John?
Yeah, we digged a little bit, or Nat digged a little bit. I was a little annoyed. I was like, but 4 years and this person got 40,000 plus. Like, how did this happen? And they got the check mark and all this. I'm like,
yeah,
what am I doing wrong?
Yeah,
literally,
I mean,
what am I doing wrong?
It seems like, you know, for all the animosity towards AI writing, a lot of the AI artists don't throw me out the club for saying that together, seem to do a lot better because they're able to throw out stuff more often. And generally the AI produced content is more relatable to a lot of people because it is actually taking their own voice and throwing it back at them. So when you're doing what I consider genuine poetry or literary content, it takes a certain subset of society to latch onto that and want to read you every day. And when we talked in our podcast, I thought one time maybe I'm posting too much and sending too many emails, but then I slacked off and I lost subscribers, and I'm like, okay, well, this makes no sense, so I'm just going to do whatever I want to. So
yeah,
that's it.
So Nat, do you want to talk about what we discovered and since you're the investigator of it?
Today I'm like an investigative journalist. Yeah. So John texted me and he's like, check this out. And, I think rightfully so. He was a little taken aback, especially the way that the author wrote the post. I think there are two ways to do that. And and I'm huge on authenticity, and I think this person was just really inauthentic about how she posed her words, and it really like pissed me off. So as soon as John sent me the text, instantly I went to the account, and she's bragging, and it was bragging that oh wow, like in 9 weeks, I think she was up to like he said, I don't know, like 20,000 subscribers. And I was like, we're all working hard, like what the hell. But right away I looked at the little paper clips that are right above the name, and I go to the Instagram. She's got 160,000 followers on Instagram. So a couple of things right away must have happened. Either those names were imported, or she promoted on Instagram, follow me to Substack. And when you think about 20,000 as a percentage of like 160,000, that's got to be a little over 10%. So if you think about it, if some of her followers just decided to subscribe to Substack, then boom, you've got like, your 20,000 subscribers right away. And it took her 9 weeks to do that. And but now you're making it look like you got this on your own. Like, people, you came to Substack, and you started at zero, and you got 20,000 people to subscribe to you because your content is so like freaking great that the rest of us are just like, what are we doing wrong? So I just hate when people do that. And I don't know, I felt like I needed, for my friend John, I had to be like, nope, this is what happened. So yeah.
And I
So here we
appreciate that.
are.
So one of the things that I've learned in this process of people climbing up so fast in the ladder of the subscription. Number one, there's a couple things that happens in your Substack. Number one, if you boost up your Substack subscription really high, what it does, it gives you the numbers right off the bat. Number two, what it does, your engagement goes lower because of a heavy influx. It might give you the credentials, like the verification, but what happens is your engagement goes down tremendously. So me with 1,600, I might post today's article, which got me about maybe 400 views. That's what they're getting. So even though the person has 20,000 views, they're getting maybe 400 like I am, for example. It might be a little bit off, maybe a little bit more, whatever. And then if you look at their subscription rates, their subscribers, a majority of them don't have profiles. If you go through my profile or someone else's profile who has lower numbers, a majority of them has profile pictures.
Yeah.
And that tells you right there that it was a dump. And they created accounts for all those things. Now you can do that yourself, and there's nothing wrong for doing that. But when you ethically mislead the rest of Substack, I think that is a moral issue. more or less. Because here, I think on Substack, I believe we try to hold up different integrity level. It's not X, it's not Instagram, it's not Facebook. We try to, we write, we produce, we do a lot of things here, and that's one of the things. And that's where it comes down. The next question, I guess, is like when you write, are you writing for yourselves? Or are you writing for the audience? I'm gonna go with Nat.
I definitely write for myself. And part of my struggle is because I write for myself, I sometimes can't spit out content on a frequent basis. So I've posted about this time and time again that, there's an expectation that, like you said, there's a formula. Well, you're supposed to write every week, post at least one article or post X amount of notes. And if I'm not feeling it, I genuinely cannot write it because I really don't know how to force it. And my most viral post that really did go viral was from like a really angry rant. And I felt like every single word, and the way that I wrote that was I felt like I couldn't write it fast enough, like I couldn't get the words, out of me onto, figuratively speaking, paper. Um, and that's how I write. So definitely I write for me. If something goes viral or I get a lot of comments or a lot of likes, that's really because people tell me they can feel the emotion behind it. But I'm not sitting down thinking, let me write this post because I think it's going to attract X, Y, and Z persons, or it's going to get me a huge amount of likes. So I kind of go by my own experience, what I'm feeling, and I take it from there. But I'm also learning because John and I speak a lot, and he's like, dude, he's like, you gotta have like people expect something, so you can't just take 2 months off because you don't feel it. Or so I'm learning in the process how to like navigate both sets of feelings. So I don't
I
know
like
if you
you.
ask me.
I like how you pull me out of the whole thing. Like I like how you just did it. It's all John's fault.
No, it's not. He's actually helping me. Like I totally like respect all of the mentorship, but I am learning because
Yeah.
he is right. I guess you can't just say, well, you know what, like I don't feel it for 3 weeks, so I'm not gonna. And I was doing that, so I'm trying. So what I do now is the minute I feel something, I like jot it down and I make sure I don't forget it, so then I can elaborate from that once a week.
Emma, what do you think?
I agree. It's a little easier for me, maybe, because I write poetry, so they tend not to be novel length, right? But I post typically, I have a core audience that'll read the work consistently. So it's going to be, 20, 30 people that will read it and comment on it because it's fairly niche, I guess, poetry. It tends to go all over the place, but often it's on the darker, quirky side. And so if I want to take a week off, what I'll do is I'll write a week's worth of poetry in advance and I'll schedule it to drop every day at noon. So I have a
Yeah.
consistent pattern regardless of whether I'm writing every day or not. I mean, my writing's dropped off over the last couple of months, 2 months for personal reasons, but I still write and post consistently. I mean, prior to that, I was writing 20 or 30 poems a day. So I had hundreds of poems in advance,
Yeah.
and I was literally scheduled for 2 months out. And some days I was writing, I was posting 2 or 3 poems a day. And then I also, part of the collaborative issue paradigm of Substack is I'll write a lot of poetry in response too. So if I see somebody's work and I want to comment, I'll write it as a poem, um, as opposed to just a heart or an emoji or whatever, because that drives me nuts. It's like if you're gonna you can click the like and be done with it, or you're gonna write something, and if you're gonna write something, make it worthwhile, because somebody else
I
is gonna
love
read it.
emojis. It's
I
so
just
easy.
I just noticed in the in the notes box, they added a shortcut to the emojis, so you can actually create emojis directly in there. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. I'll use emojis too, but I like to write. I find it amuses me because I write what I like to read and what I like to do, and I kind of mix up between short stories and flash fiction and poetry. But I've been on a poetry kick for quite a while. I'm actually looking at going back to some more of the short stories, to be honest.
So, fun fact, we talked about scheduling. Back in the day, it used to be a year. You could actually schedule a year.
What?
On Substack.
Well, I didn't have that much stuff, John.
Well, I'm just saying, you could schedule yourself out for a year. For some reason, then all of a sudden, I think last year, they stopped doing that. It stopped allowing you to do that. So
yeah, it was down to like 30 days or something, or 60 days for a while, but it's extended out again. So it's
90 days. You have about 90 days. Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, that's good. Because like you said, you may be on holidays, or you might be, or you might have a couple or you didn't feel it that week, and you had a couple of reserves. You want to throw them out there. That's how I do it sometimes.
Yeah.
But, so, Patricia, so tell me about what's your writing style, or what do you do to get motivated other than following a bunch of people and you got locked out of unsubscribing?
Well, I write mostly about upcoming things like National whatever week, National Potato Week, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Only it's things that are going on in the world that people need to know about. And that's mainly what I write.
Okay.
I will say National Potato Week was my favorite.
Was it? I missed that one. I have to find that one. Yeah. Actually, didn't I? Is it Ohio? I was in Idaho, I think, and the Mr. Potato car was driving around. I don't know if that was. It was like weird, or that was in Indiana. I can't remember it, but it was a big car, a potato, and it was weird, and that thing drove around everywhere. Serious.
Governor's going to drive something.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. I was like, "What's the big deal?" It's like the hot dog, but with a potato. Yeah, it looked like a hot dog, but it turned into a potato. Yeah, it was either Indiana or I can't remember, or is it Iowa? I can't remember where I was.
I think it's Idaho, like the Idaho potato.
Yeah, Idaho's potatoes.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. No, I was in the Midwest. I was definitely in the Midwest, either in Indiana or somewhere around that area there.
There's not much I can explain about Indiana, so.
So, Joe, what do you think? What's your feeling about writing? Like, I know you. Okay, so if people don't know this, Joe took a time out. I think sometime last year or this year. I can't remember what it was. This year.
Earlier this year.
Yeah, you took a time out. You kind of just said, "I'm done with this," and you had an issue with being authentic and things like that, and you felt like you were becoming a machine, more or less. And then in the last part of your story, you said this version no longer is going to exist. Tell me, how was that so far from that day to today? How did that help? Did that help you get it out? And now you're more.
I mean, it's going back to the topic at hand about the subscribers. I sit there each time. I think, am I serving growth? Am I serving an audience, or am I serving my ego? And if I get to where I feel like I'm serving my ego, would I love to come on here and brag about 20,000 subscribers? Absolutely. But am I going to make that the core mission of my life? No, because if you're not reading and you're not getting something and you're not resonating with what I'm writing, then what's the point? And after talking during that break, I was looking at it and go back to some of the things, yes, in the early days of Substack, there was more commenting and there were more likes and there was more interaction. But as it grew, you got to figure all the artists grew. all the original people that were on there grew, and they didn't have the time to dilly-dally around, and you kind of lost contact with a lot of them, and some of them gave up and left and whatever. But the larger portion of that is we talked about the email last time, is a large percentage of your readers are going to get your stuff through email, and they're going to read it, and then they're going to go around their day. Yeah. And no, they're not going to. So if you're judging your entire performance through what Substack gives you, you're losing the game already. Although it gives you some feedback, it's not giving you true feedback, because, you know, I'll get a note, or I'll get a comment, or I'll get something months later that's like, I read this and it helped me, or I did this and it helped me, or you know, one day I found a link to it and said, somebody had posted a link to one of my articles on another website somewhere, hell and gone from anywhere I've ever been. And like, you got to read this. It made a difference in my day. And I'm like, you know, that's what I'm after. That's, you know, so yes, I am reaching people, and they're just, not all of them are running up to pat me on the back and saying, hey, Joe, good job. And the other thing I think people need to respect is, you have to put yourself in the eyes of the reader. And a lot of these people, if they've got 90 subscribers or 60 subscribers, and you've got several thousand subscribers, all of a sudden you're a celebrity and untouchable to them. So they don't write you because they don't think you have the time to write them back. They don't say anything because, you know, it'd be like me writing, you know, Shakira and telling her I loved her last movie. She's not going to say anything to me, you know, so why bother? So we have to keep these things in mind, right?
Yeah, that is so true. I mean, at the end of the day, so I remember I try to reply to every comment. I try. I mean, it's not easy, and sometimes I do my emojis. I know it sounds weird, but I do my emojis, either saying thank you, or it's a very simple emoji. It's the thank you, hug, and the peace. You know, that's sort of my emoji standard, and it's because it's the words that I would always use anyway. So I was able to express it that way. But I know commenting on people's, or on replying, gives the connection to the audience that you're trying to build, right? And the other thing is that going on other people's Substacks and commenting on their stuff is also helps them, especially a smaller account, because they'll see that you're trying to connect with them. And I can remember, I mean, that's why I do Restack Saturdays, is to get new ones out, and hopefully I can touch as many as I can on a Saturday. You know, sometimes I don't do it every Saturday, but I try to do it every Saturday because of that. So with that said, is there really, I mean, when we talk about the growth in numbers, I always was told the smaller the number, the better the connection, rather than the larger the connection. Is that still, I mean, obviously we want to have 20,000 subscribers. We want to be up in there because it puts us on the influence list, you know, the ranking and all that. Like, what would you think? Like, what would you have? More engagement or a larger subscription base?
Personally,
Joe?
I think it's quantity, not quality, regardless of how many subscribers you have. And, you know, you talk about commenting. I had a note go viral and it had like 60,000 likes.
Wow, that's awesome.
I mean, it was insane. And then I made early in the thing, I was like, I said aloud, I don't know why I did. I'm going to respond to everybody that responds to this thing. And I committed to it. And like 6 weeks later, I'm like, please stop commenting on this note. You know, I am so sick of coming back to this note and having to scroll down 18 pages to start commenting. You know, I've literally never said anything this smart in my life, and I hope I never do again. So I buried myself. So I think it's quality, not quantity.
Patricia, do you think that's a true statement?
Yeah, I do. I really believe that it's quality more than quantity. I've only got like close to 1,000, but I get a lot of comments where it says, "I really like the stuff that you write. You write it so personally and such a personal level that I can really associate with it," and that means a lot to me to get those.
Just a curiosity, what is your word count? What's the max word? Do you have a word count that you always try to stay by? No.
No.
So it could be a long format, short format, no matter what.
Okay. Yeah.
Emma?
I prefer quality as well. As I said, I tend to have a core of people that read on a regular basis and comment on a regular basis as well. So it allows me, if there is a comment, to engage in a conversation, to start a conversation. I mean, I agree with what Joe said. If you've got 20,000, there's no way you can keep up with that. So, but I found people have moved from the Substack world into the real life world, people that I've met through Substack, and that's a real value to me to build community. I've enjoyed that greatly. And it doesn't, and there's nothing wrong with emojis, by the way, but
now you're gonna get all the
but,
emojis off from me now.
yeah. Everything I get back is now going to be in emojis, right?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I do believe that there's a great benefit, and personally, that's where the dopamine is for me, is in a comment. So a quality connection.
Nat?
And if people are,
sorry,
I was
no,
going to say,
ahead.
if people are ever going to pick up books, right, as opposed to just read online, that's where it's going to come from. Is those people that like you enough to actually comment.
Yeah, definitely. Nat?
So I'm gonna be controversial because I always have to be. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's a combination of both, and I'll tell you why. Um, with so right now I just hit 1,300 subscribers, and I have to say there's a good 10% of those people that I've really connected with. And I know they comment on my stuff and we go back and forth and we DM. And like, I'm okay with that. And I don't mind the growth. I don't mind it. And one of the things I realized was I went back to my viral post and I looked to see how many subscribers I got from that. And every week I'm still getting people subscribing to me because of that post. But now I look at it slightly different, and I go to their bios, and if it's like something that resonates with me, or it's some type of it's within my niche, so to speak, and I write about midlife, I DM them, I reach out, and so I actually use it as a way to build a stronger connection, because they may have found me through that viral post, but I feel like you've just been given a gift. And if you feel like you can connect with that person, then maybe you should. And so I really thought about, like, should I take this post down, or I don't know, should I retire it or something? And I was like, what, are you stupid? Like, no, don't, because you're going to find people who will relate to you. So maybe 80% of them, you know, subscribe to me because of that, right? But of the 220 or whatever, I can still get 20 of them that are like my people. And I just made a really great connection with someone that she found me through that post. And we're supposed to like we're supposed to have a meeting this week to review, I think maybe me going on her podcast. So I think that it's good to have the numbers. I think what the numbers do as well is they add credibility to someone that's maybe looking for you to do something with them. So if somebody wants to, like, let's say, collaborate, and they look at your account and they see, oh, okay, she's over 1,000. I get it. It's not 1,000 true people, but that 1,000, that number, and unfortunately, that's the way it works. And I just kind of speak it as it is, right? That number will open up some doors that may not have opened if you were at 200. But to me, what's comforting is I'm still going to have my people that I have my connection with. So I try to look at it from both angles.
Gotcha. I was just thinking about the journey that I've been on, which has been, which has been cool. I really enjoy it. And then watching it grow on its own and going where it needs to go. I mean, my numbers don't grow. I mean, I may get one once a week, which is fine. I'm happy with that. I'm not looking for growth. I'm looking for quality, obviously. And, my writing is somewhat like Joe says, it's sort of all over the place. And I don't really like my niche is like, if you go in your categories, my niche is literature and spiritual writing. That's what it is. And because that's as close as I can get to inspirational writing, that's really what I'm trying to do is write inspirational stories, help people on the way, be educational, things like that. And I think the tough part is trying to, find your people in this world of 35 million people per month on Substack. And I don't think you'll ever get that because Emma, like you and I, you'll never really read my content because you prefer more gothic stuff, right? Is that what I'm
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're more into
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. So are we going to read each other's stories? No, probably not, because we're not, we don't align in the same type of, genres. But what we can do is come together as a community and support each other. And this is where I really want to start talking about. When you came on Substack, obviously you guys were alone. You kind of felt like, oh boy, what's going on? You had to figure all things out. Now, one of the things I've been trying to do is build a community outside of Substack that helps with book launches or things like that. When we talk about this, let's start with Joe. Your book launch. You have about 5 or 6 books out right now?
4.
4. Okay.
Well, 5. Yeah, 5.
5. But explain, like, so the process is a lot to do. Like, you have to put the book together, then you got to find the cover, then you got to find the format, and then you got to post it and make sure the editing and all that done. Like, from start to end, how long does that take? You put a book together and launch it.
I don't know. A couple of them over a year. One of them just sailed out of me, and it depends on the subject matter. I mean, it was the humor one. Just was, I think I wrote that thing in a week because I was in a mood, and
yeah,
I just sat down, and it's a bunch of anecdotes, so it wasn't that big a deal. But some of the last one, the one about shame, it took over a year because I kept fiddling with the format and how I wanted to send that out into the world, because I didn't just want to write about shame. I wanted some concrete poetry and imagery in there that spoke to the to what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And
so when you launch the book, what happens then? Like, what is your strategy to bring this out? Is it all purely on Substack and social media, or what are you doing to promote your book?
I pray heavily. It's word of mouth, and look, writing a book is fun. Putting a book together is fun. The cover art's fun. Marketing a book sucks. It absolutely sucks. And there's no other way to put it, unless you just like going out and getting beat up and turned down. And I'm in sales, and I hate it. I mean, it's I wrote the book on masculinity because it's important to me, and then realized I cut off half the human race, and then I kicked myself for 6 months because the other half of the human race has no interest in that book whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the half that should be interested in it really hadn't been told they're screwed up. They're not really into it. So I should have thought it through. By design, I designed a book that 4 people are going to read, and it's done better than that. I mean, I'm being a little bit facetious, but um, I'm not an expert in marketing, but dropping them at coffee shops, dropping them in. I went on the site and I had to look up the name of the site. They had a QR code that I put in the book, and I sent copies to friends, and they dropped them in universities, and they started picking up speed, and I started picking up subscribers and started picking up people that were like, hey, like a guy from MIT sent me an email, and he's like, I got your book, love it. How did you get my book? And but it works. I mean, there's no substitute if you're not published through a traditional means and have somebody advertising for you than elbow grease and being creative.
Right.
And I got to a point where I realized that if you're this passionate about writing the thing, then be just as passionate about selling the thing. And I guess the way I kind of pump myself up and this kind of touches on the previous subject, is at no point in my young life, I've got several thousand subscribers across different platforms now, did I think I would wake up every morning. And I try to think of it in a physical aspect. And I walk out my front door and there's 4,000 or 5,000 people standing there saying, what do you got to say today, Joe? At no point in my young life did I ever think that would happen. So that's virtually what we do, right? You write a poem, you write a piece of work, and you put it out in the world, and they're not sitting there going, "Oh, I hope I have my emails today." But when it comes in, they're like, "Great, I got a poem today, or I got a piece of work from Joe today," and that's motivating.
That is motivating. Patricia, how do you you got your book out and you're selling it? Like, how did you get it out there? Did you use a conventional way of going through publishing, or how did you do it?
No, I had a publisher, but I had to do all of the marketing, and I'm still marketing. I printed it. It was printed in December. I had a relaunch in March, and I'm still processing, promoting different things. They're ongoing with it. So it's taken me about a year.
So people talk about publishing and all that, but in your case, some publishers do the marketing and all that. Was that offered to you during the publishing, or no?
No.
Wow. And they just offered you to produce the book, and that's it.
Basically, yeah.
And where are you doing with your book published? Where are you going for promotion? Are you going to the bookstores? Are you going conventional stuff, or are you just gonna
I'm doing mental health clinics and facilities like that, social work sites, psychology areas, people that learn psychology and teach psychology, different things like that.
Now, Emma, I'm not sure if you have a book. I don't remember if you have a book or not.
I have 11 books.
You have 11 books. Oh, my. Okay. So, since you're the more expertise here.
No, numbers don't equate to expertise, but
no. So you've learned a lot through you.
Yeah, I have. I mean, when I first started, so my work has been published via 2 ways. The first is publisher in Berlin, Tilt, reached out last year and said, because they've read my work on Substack, Tim from Tilt reached out and said, would you be interested in doing a book? And I'm like, sure, why not? So I provided some poetry to him, and then what he did was he put together a series of photographs to go with it, because not only is he a publisher, but he's also a photographer. And so we made up a small book of that. collected poetry to illustrate the photography to illustrate the poetry, and then they printed it and marketed it and everything through Substack primarily. But he went down the road of bookmarks and stickers, so trying to create a viral distribution network through the Substack network and people that he knew. I also published stuff myself, and when I first started that, much to what you were alluding to when we started, is like, well, you think, well, I'm going to put a book out there and people on Substack know who I am, and they're all just going to run out to the stores and buy this book. That's not how I work. I mean, I had some sales, but as I've done more of them, I've got wiser, and I'm not overly concerned about it, because I'm not looking to make any money out of it per se. So I'm lucky in that regard, and I consider anything that I've written and is out there to be back catalogue that people can find at some point and then purchase if something takes off, right? So I'm not overly concerned about it. But within the last few months, because I'm working on other books, actually, I've just got one that was delivered yesterday to the Maryland place for proofreading, and then I'm working on a book for somebody else. So now I've been able to educate myself to, okay, well, where can I send this for advanced reader copies and reviews prior to release? And I've got some local bookstores. The person I'm working with may be a young adult. So I'm like, okay, I got a contact list of all the school libraries and school library associations for Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland that I can reach out to and say, would you be interested in reading this? Would be interested in bringing the author in to have a conversation with students, if you like. So I'm doing more marketing on that side, because what I found from my experience with the poetry books was that exactly as you said, the problem is nobody knows who you are. And there are a million books out in the world that are, in effect, not competing with you necessarily, because everybody's got their own genre, just like Nat said. He's like, I've got my slice, and we kind of work within it. But it creates a lot of confusion when people are just looking at a cover or the spine of a book. Is that something I would want to read? So you have to put the information out there. So rather than just throw money at advertising, I'm looking at reaching out to the appropriate communities en masse, where it makes sense to get a return on investment on the time that you're going to spend through both emails, follow-ups, and phone conversations to say, where can I place that time to have the maximum amount of impact? So I've started to move down that road. So I'm quite excited about that. I mean, to Joe's point, you got to be passionate about the marketing as well as the writing, because I love the writing, but I didn't know anything about the marketing. So it was when I was in sales, Joe, people used to market for me. So it's like I would just turn up at a conference and the table was already set up, and I'd just stand there and do my talk for 2 hours. And the room would fill with people, and I'd do a conversation around some technical issue, and then they would all clap and go away and say how great it was, and then somebody else would tear it down.
So Nat, so today I wrote about no one knows yet, basically what I was trying to say there. And I mean, you read the article, obviously, and you were part of it. And we've had multiple conversations. And one of the things actually happened on Saturday. So we're doing this fundraising for the Ciao Bella project, which is a film project that we're trying to do as a documentary, which with a book and all that kind of stuff. And it has a lot. And if you're not familiar with it, it's about World War II in northern Italy, Nazi Germany, occupying, taking the Jews. And we uncovered that my family and a couple other friends of mine in that area there, their families were involved in trying to save them and get them, escort them out of that part of the region. And in our discussion, we did a Kickstart fundraising, which was part of it. And what I just basically said, nobody knows us. And we expected there was no fundraising. We might get a couple of dollars here and there for a few friends, but we were not expecting anything. No, we're trying to do 25,000. And that is to cover the basic essential cost of doing what film work and all this other stuff that we need to do to pay for, because we got to get permits and all that stuff. In Italy, it's just bureaucracy, stuff that we got to deal with. But it was just basically included that, no one knows us. So no one's going to say, oh, John Ronaldo, here, it's $25,000, right? there's a little bit more behind that, right? So we knew that this is the first initial shot at this, and then we're going to probably fix it up. But now with the story that I wrote, does that make sense to you now that, sometimes what you think here is it's not
Yeah,
relating,
it doesn't translate to
but
out there
also
because, go ahead.
what I also want to say is, I mean, I do believe that you have to think of then you have to, it's that metaphor thing, like you kind of have to chase what you want. And, but for you, is that, like, how does that resonate with you?
You mean just the concept of going after what I want?
Well, just like not knowing, and also have that reality check, then all of a sudden it's more of like, I need to figure this out to really define myself, or does it make sense what I'm trying to say? Or I'm kind of like all over the place. I'm probably all over the place.
No, I mean, like for me, I think the way that we came about this was when you said to me, no, nobody knows who you are, was I'm building this course and I built this app and I put it out there. So I have not published a book, but I do have product and I included like a little teaser note and I said I wanted to do this free Zoom session just to see if people were interested. And I got like no takers and it was really like I was bummed, but to your point, I mean, mine was free, but I'm still trying to, attract potential clients or customers. And you're fundraising, and no one knows who we are. And I think when you do have a following, or you do have subscribers, and you start getting interaction and engagement, naturally you just assume that a lot of people want to take the next step. But to your point, I don't necessarily think that's the case because they know of me, but they don't really know me. So I think there's a layer of trust that needs to be earned. And that's what we're doing right now. And that trust, it's not earned in a matter of a week or even a couple of months. Some of that trust takes a long time to build. And that's one of the lessons that I think it's a lesson in patience that I think a lot of us, I think Substack is a little bit misleading in the sense that you think you have these people and you think you have these subscribers and you think that that equates to trust, but your relationship is not really there as yet. So it's a combination of really understanding how long do you take to build those relationships? How long does it take to earn that trust? And when you get to that point, I think, John, like, let's say that you're doing these, I think you do them on Saturdays and you start doing these lives and these podcasts based on your Chabela. I think maybe in 10, 12 weeks, like, like, you're going to get a lot more responses or you will start seeing that funding growing. But, week one, people are just like, what is this? Who is this guy? They might know you from the Positive Pen, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my take.
So when I started this journey about writing, I mean, I wrote my first 2 books and nobody knew me, and I just posted it on Amazon. And I had a writer. I had someone help me write. I had someone edit. And I paid money to do all this, and kind of like followed some type of formula that someone taught me, and it was just a sales gimmick, more or less. And no, I didn't pay for it. It was just I was researching it and just kind of felt salesy type thing. And then as I started posting it, I wasn't, they were saying you have to advertise. So I started doing advertising. So I spent a few $1,000s and that didn't work out. And I did my second book, which was, I thought, well, maybe I need to be more authentic, which I wasn't really. I was trying to be cutesy in it, and it flopped as well. And then it's when I wrote, then then I got then I got really serious on Substack. I wrote 100 stories in 100 days of inspirational stories.
Wow.
Those 100 days I wrote every single day. It was a thing that I wanted to do, and I got people from different things to build an audience. That's what I was trying to do, is build an audience. Because my first 2 books flopped in the sense of sales because nobody knew who I was. And so that's the journey. And then I took a break after a while, and then I came back and I started writing again, and I came back in a different way. So when we go back to Ciao Bella, it was a prime example of we have to build momentum on it. We have to build an audience. We have to let people understand what we're trying to do, have these discussions and do podcasts, write about it. It's not easy because that project is time consuming at times. It could be nothing's happening and all of a sudden things are happening, but we're researching, we're doing things, we're trying to connect people. And that's where I think that's where I think a lot of people don't understand. Just because you wrote a book, who's your audience? And I don't mean an audience of your family members and all that. Who's your audience? So what Joe and Patricia was saying, and even Emma was more or less saying, you have to go out and reach like organizations and get them and send them free copies and things like that to trigger some type of response. If you started off if you started from scratch, what would be the first thing? Build the audience or focus on targeting the right locations in your next book, Joe? Like if you had like how you're doing it now, like if you didn't have an audience, what would be first?
You targeting the audience, or what would the?
So, like for example, you started off a new book, and
Mm-hmm.
you finally decided to create. Like you want to create what will be the first? Would it be promoting, like building an audience first and writing it in, and hopefully people catch on to that, or is it better to focusing on the areas that you're focusing on? Which one's better in your approach to sales?
I don't know that there is a better. It's like I said, I'm going to stick by my earlier thing that writing and having a book that goes, it's like a piece going viral. It is an act of whatever 10 things come together at any given time that causes that to be a sensation. You can write the perfect book in the perfect moment, go give the perfect speech to the perfect group of people, and sell 3 books. And then you just hit this magical chord, if you will, at one time in your career, and it resonates with the right person, or the right person picks it up, or if you're lucky, like Oprah Winfrey picks it up, or somebody mentions it, in their writing that has a bigger audience that grants you that authority that you don't have right now. So if you're going to go out in a career and you're a doctor and you want to build authority as a doctor, at age 50 or 60, you have the authority to speak as a medical professional. But a lot of the stuff we're speaking about, where does that sense of authority come from? The only place it can come from is from someone in your audience that has a bigger voice than you, or a more widespread range than you. So, I don't know. I don't know that you can. I don't know that you can plan these things. If I'm writing a textbook, certainly. If I'm writing a medical journal, certainly. If I'm writing poetry, or the things that I generally write, you have to rely on the passion that drove you to write the book in order to get the book out there. And everything else is going to fail you. You can't tell me that everything else is just going to fail you, because it's just those people. And it'll take off. I have every confidence that a couple of them will take off. It's just got to get to in the right hands. And one of them already has. I mean, the first one I ever wrote, I took it off the market. It sold 6 books. I've sold this last one. I just hit 1,000, and it's only been out 3 months, and that's just word of mouth. That's just word of. I hadn't done anything to it, so that's, to me, that's a bestseller. I'm calling the New York Times and saying, "Yeah, you guys are missing out," because I got a hit here. But I just think it's lightning, man. It is, and it's like any endeavor out there now.
So when you started that 1,000 sales, when you relaunched, it was a relaunch book, right? How did you approach that? Like, what did you do to, like you said, it's a word of mouth, but there's got to be more than just a word of mouth. Like, did you send it out?
I was writing pieces and taking excerpts from it, putting it on Substack and putting it on Instagram, and the piece is more, I think, because it had a more of a visual flow to it rather than just prose, just written words. People related to it more, and that lent itself more to what society is now, because society is memes and visuals and artwork now, which is what draws people in. And when I cut back on my, because I'm very verbose. When I cut back on my word count and went up on the imagery, that's what worked for me. So I just went out I had to learn social media, which is embarrassing.
Everybody has to learn it.
Well, I mean, it's embarrassing when you got to go to your kids and like, how does this Instagram thing work?
They'll tell you.
There's nothing makes you feel older than having to go to a teenager and say, "Look, I can't figure this TikTok crap out. I don't know. How do I put a link in this, and how do I do this?" And we're used to marketing. Not that all of us are the same age, but we all grew up in an area where marketing was brochures and a TV commercial and a magazine, and the entire world has moved on. So not only are you doing writing and doing, publishing, now you're learning a new marketing that's foreign to all of us. And not only are that, you're competing with a group of people who are much better at it, and much more skilled at it, and turn out stuff like that. If I want to do a video about my book, it takes 12 hours. They can do it in 15 minutes. And like the other day, I was trying to do one of the snippets for Instagram. I sat there all day, and my computer is not talking to me because I called it so many names that day. So, what do you do?
Fair enough. You think you'll come back together, you two?
I think we'll make up eventually. I have to clean her up and buy her something nice, but she was not cooperating the other day.
I need more Rams. Just kidding. So I guess I'm gonna phrase this question a little better. I'm trying to figure a way to saying this. Like, what would you, Emma, thinking about what we talked about? How would you? I guess it's more of improving your sales. If you were able to, I guess, tell somebody right off the bat, like, hey, you got a book coming out. This is how we're going to do this. What would be the thing you would emphasize after the book's done? Like, what would be the first marketing move you would make them suggest that they should focus on?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I know myself, to be quite honest. I mean, that's part of the issue I have. I mean, I'm learning stuff. I mean, the thing that I've missed in the past, and I would encourage people to do if they've got a book in hand, regardless of whether it's close to release or released, is make sure you can get it into the hands of people that can do the advanced read for you, to get reviews to build visibility for that piece of work, whether that be an association or a buyer for an association, or whether that be people that you can then quote on um, Ingram Spark, or Goodreads, or whatever, or preferably multiple platforms for reviews. But I think is people. I mean, Joe's got a good point as regard, or sorry, Nat's got a good point as regards to building trust. Is people are more inclined to look at something if somebody else has already looked at it and said, "Oh yeah, I like that." Right? Nobody wants to be the first. Nobody wants to be the unknown. And take the risk. If you've got $10 or $20 you want to spend, you're more inclined to purchase something that is a safer bet. To Joe's point, as regards to lightning in the bottle, I mean, I don't think there's any fixed algorithm or pattern. I think you can increase the probability of a successful outcome, but there's no algorithm that says if you do these 5 steps, you're going to have a bestseller. Because it requires, it depends on the quality of the work, it depends on the audience, it depends on it just meeting the moment at that time. That's what you said, Joe, is that, things had changed a little bit. And then when you brought it back, it was closer to the moment, right? So there's a lot of different things, but I think if you can get it into the hands of people to read it for you, beta readers, reviewers, with advanced reader copies, I think you stand a better probability. And if somebody reads it for you and the review's not great, you always have the option, if it's not published and out there, or even if it is, to amend it, right? So we can print something, but that doesn't mean it's chiseled in stone. It can be amended.
So Sacred Storylines, Catherine, I believe her name is, she posed a question there, Patricia. She said she didn't realize that publishers don't market as well. I'm sure there's publishers out there that do market. And her point was, what good are they? At the end of the day, because most of it we could do our own publishing by just putting on multiple platforms and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. What was the reason why they did not, or is that not part of their services, I guess is the question.
It really wasn't part of the services that she offered. She was my editor and my publisher. And so we worked together for like 6 months. And I would send her a chapter and she'd say, okay, send me the next chapter, do this and do that, and then send me the next chapter. So, but all along she was fully aware and I was fully aware that I was going to have to market it.
So did she publish it on Amazon and a couple other places? That's how she worked? Okay. So she didn't physically go to a print house and basically got it print out the books. She went to
she had a print house.
Now, is she technically a publisher? Is she technically a publisher? Is that what she does? Okay. So she's a boutique type thing, and they don't do. So when you were told you had to do the sales part, what did you think about that?
I thought, golly, that sounds interesting. That was like 8 months ago. And now I'm like, oh my God.
What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? Just selling your book. What's the thing that you're so concerned about?
What I'm running up against more than anything else is scams. People who are out and saying, okay, I like your book and I'm going to do this with it and I'm going to do that with it. And you just need to give me X number of dollars and it's going to go, really fast. And then I look them up on Google and it says, this is a scam. Wow. So it's like, well, okay, never mind.
That's, I had a famous author write to me and saying, I love your book, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. Looked her up and I thought, wow, she's connected. She does children's book. We were doing The Quiet Miracle, which was a children's book per se. And I thought to myself, wow, this is awesome. And then I looked at the email one more time and it had the Gmail in it. And I went, if this person was truly all that, a bag of chips, she wouldn't be using a Gmail to email me. And that's what it just turned out to be a fake. But for a moment, I had wow, this is a breakthrough, right? I guess that's where the scammers get you all the time, right? So that's That's just they just trying to, you got a lot of hopes and prayers, and that's what they're going after. Is
Yeah, I get scammers like that.
yeah.
It's like the text I got from Tom Cruise with the investment opportunity last week.
Tom
And I hate to,
Cruise.
guys.
Wow.
I love it. I've enjoyed it. I do have to step out.
All right, Joe.
I do have a hard stop. I do appreciate you having me here, and I really enjoyed this.
All right, Joe. Thank you for coming on.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Take care,
Thanks,
John.
guys.
Take
Bye bye.
care.
Tom Cruise.
Wow.
That's funny. So, Nat, that's I know you haven't written a book, but after hearing all these conversations about it, what do you think?
I think it's definitely harder than people make it out to be. And I have a draft of a novel that I'd written since 10, 12 years ago. And I'm, really looking to get it published, but it's not it's not like a priority as yet, but it's coming to be. And it's to me it's very confusing because I mean, I was always told that you need to go the old school route of finding an agent, going to a publishing, having the agent submit to like publishing house and going that route. And everyone obviously, um the advantage to that is the marketing is tied into it, they do the promotions, etc. But I mean, talk about lightning, striking, right? That,
Yeah.
I mean, that's luck. That most people, you can have a great book and it's going to be, what's it, the slush pile? It's just going to get, it's just going to make it to the slush pile. So
Mm-hmm.
I know, like when I met you, John, and Chris, you guys were like, yeah, you can self-publish, you can publish on Amazon. I read a lot of things about that. So I feel like it's still, for me, I think it's like half and half because I think you have the instant gratification if you do go with self-publishing and you get your book out there. You just have to be ready to do the marketing, and that's a risk. And then if you wait for wait to find an agent and find someone that really likes your work and then they submit it, I mean, you're taking a chance there as well. So I mean, I think each aspect has its own benefits. Um, I'm not opposed really to what you did, John, which is to maybe do a sell, like, publish your book on Amazon and see what happens. I think there are a couple of people who've done that, like Colleen Hoover. I mean, she's blown up, and I always forget the name of the lady, but the 50 Shades of Grey lady, I call her. She self-published, and I mean, sometimes it works. So it's
I
I don't like the scamming. I don't like the scam part of it though.
yeah.
I think that, it's just another layer of people preying upon people. And I'm just not an advocate of that in any way, shape, or form. So I'm sorry, Patricia, that you experienced that.
Well, at
I'm,
least you
I'm
Googled them.
used to it.
Yeah. So the thing is that I want to I don't know how to introduce this, but I'll but you guys are familiar with what I was trying to do on the side here. Is called Author's Rise. And the reason for that is to create a type of community that independent authors that are trying to publish a book can go into this community, and we would have it all set up ready to go where people can help you with your editing, people can help you with your cover book, people can help you with a whole bunch of stuff. Some might be free, some might, I don't know yet. We're just, going through the process. But people can read your book. People willing to read your book, do a review. And the concept is trying to build this community where every time we have a book launch, we can actually push it out there pretty fast and then get your lift that you need to go on Amazon or other other websites or other platforms where they're publishing your book to help you get through that. I pulled it back because number one, I just didn't. I didn't like the format of the website. I got really annoyed by it. Two, I wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing, and I needed some time. I took a step back and just let it digest. It's something I always do. It's like I took it back, turned it off, said, "Okay, don't do anything, guys." And I thought that to build an audience is we do a lot of these things, talk about it, and talk what we can do to help each other. Because I keep going back to this number, 35 million people on Substack every single day. Those are your readers. Those are the people things. If you think you talk about Emma says or Joe said or even Patricia say, they're going out and sending out copies to free people and all this stuff. Sometimes that does not resonate. I mean, that's a 2% return in most cases, maybe 1% return. And most people, when you give out books, I've done it multiple times, I don't see a review. I say, hey, if you read this, just do me a favor, just go put a review on Amazon.
Hey, I'm guilty. I still have to write a review for one of yours.
But you're not alone. There's other people that do that, and I'm okay. Like if I'm handing out a book, it's because I want you to have it because I thought you could connect to it. And two, if you did give me a review, that's a bonus on my end. Most of the book was for a connection. That's what I was trying to do on your end. But what do you like? You guys all know what we're trying to build here. The author rise, author rises. I guess that's what we called it. What do you think about that concept? Do you think something like that will have some meat to it and something that can focus on helping to launch?
I can answer that because I've never written a book, and I think that's, I just mentioned two options, and I think that's a third that's not really been introduced. So I mean, I would be completely open to something like that because that to me is the combination of the two things the two options that I just listed, which I wasn't sure which one I would go for.
Emma?
I think there's value in it. I think just like the subscriber situation, though, that Nat talked about, is there's gonna be a subset of people that express an interest in it that i.e. subscribe, that are actually going to be active in it. I think there is value for the people that are in it and are prepared to put into it to get a return, right? It's like anything else. You get back the work you're prepared to put into it. And I think people see that authenticity and that integrity and respond in kind. So, I mean, it's something that I'm very interested in being part of and being active in. And I'd love to nurture and help other people. If I get the same, that's great. If not, I'm just happy to help other authors.
Yeah, and that's where I got to the point where I was looking at it like, who I'm helping here? That's really what it came down to. Like, who is really benefiting this? Because I'm putting a lot of work into this and trying to get this thing going. And then I kind of just sat back. I was like, I was getting to. There's always a part of me was like, when I don't feel happy about doing it, then I stop. I guess I'm so triggered by doing that because I just like, I don't want to do that anymore. Because it's not really going where I want to go, or I have this vision. And it's not meeting up to my vision. Patricia, I mean, if you had that opportunity with somebody who you can just turn this over to and say, here, help me launch this book. I mean, obviously that would help you out from the sales side. Do you think there's value in that?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that takes off. Yeah. I mean, if you think you did your reviews on Amazon, I'm assuming it's on Amazon. Like, if you did your review, how many reviews do you have on Amazon?
I have 40.
40. Wow. That's awesome. But how long did it take you to get 40?
Since the book was published in December.
Wow. That's pretty good. And you did it all on yourself. Like you just hustled. That's what you did.
Right. Well, I did hire one guy that helped me to get to #1 on Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, who's that guy?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. Oh, that's funny. So he helped you. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like how did you come across him? What was how did it all begin with that one?
I was listening to a internet study kind of thing, and I heard this guy say, "Well, if you're really interested, I can get your book to #1 on Amazon." And then they cut away from somebody else, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, who was that?" And I wrote it down, and I called him the next day, and I said, "I want you to get my book to #1." He goes, "Okay, here's what we got to do."
So was there a cost to that?
There was a good cost to it.
Oh, so it wasn't cheap.
Oh no.
So let me ask you, let's like your sales now versus the cost, did it benefit?
There was a lot of action going on during the time that he was working with me, and there's not so much now. So it's kind of like I want to go back and say, "Hey, would you do this again? Let's do another relaunch."
So, but what my point is, did it quite like if he cost you $1,000, I don't know what the cost was. If it cost you $1,000, did you get $3,000 in sales?
Oh, I see what you're asking. Yeah, I think I got what I paid for. I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. And
Did you want to know if there's like a net profit?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, what's the ROI on it? Like,
Yeah.
like, was it really worth spending that money and all of a sudden you get the sales? Then I guess it did make sense.
Yeah, what I'm really interested in is getting the book out to people. I'm more interested in that than I am in making money. As a matter of fact, I've just reduced the price of it $2, and that's going to go on sale probably this week. But that's my interest, is to get it out to people so they'll read it and pay attention to it. And that's more important to me than how much I've been spending on marketing.
Well, talk a little bit about your book a little bit, if I may, Emma. Or Emma, you guys, before we jump ahead, go ahead.
I had a comment. Don't forget to update the back of your cover jacket that says #1 Amazon bestseller. #1 on Amazon with the dates.
Yeah, big
when
time.
you push it out, because I mean, if you paid for that and you were #1, then quote it, because that's probably what you paid for.
I've got it on all my flyers and all that, places like that.
So, talk about a little bit what your book is about, because I think it's a really important book.
It's about sexual abuse as a child and narcissistic trauma. It's a memoir. So it was very personal for me to write. And it was kind of difficult because there were parts of it that were like, oh my gosh, do I want to put that out there? And there were parts that I thought, oh my gosh, this has to go out. I partially did it for my sister because my sister was 17 months older than me, and she was much more abused than I was. And I dedicated the book to her. And she has since passed. She passed before the book was written. So I would love to have had her read it.
So who's your target audience other than sexually abused people? Like, who would be like, you think would...
People who are in relationships, who are questioning what's going on with what's happening in them. People who are being gaslighted by somebody and they're not sure that they are. They kind of think they might be, but they're not positive. Basically, people who are in relationships who are having difficulties or kind of wonder what's going on. And also people who wonder what happened as a child, what they had dealt with as a child, whether or not that has had an effect on their life.
And then where are you sending that book to? Like, obviously clinics, people, therapists, like, are you targeting those? And are you targeting locally, or are you focused on nationally?
Well, I started locally, and then I'm going to spread out a little bit. I've got there's a couple of organizations that are supporting my book. the American Society for the Protection of Children is supporting it. RAIN is supporting it. They're putting out, things about it, that it should be used in various places and that kind of thing. So that's basically what I'm looking for, is that type of that type of word getting out,
Right.
type of exposure.
So, yeah. And where can they get your book?
Amazon is the best place. I think I can get it at Barnes and Noble too. Here's my book.
It's on her. It's on her Substack as well. FYI.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's an important topic, and it's one worth highlighting, because it's more so now than in the past, but it's often an untalked about subject as well, because of the nature of how that makes people feel uncomfortable. So I think it's an extremely valuable topic to raise, Patricia, and certainly it needs to be brought more into the spotlight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it is a heavy subject though too, and so I'm gonna try to transition here the best I can. So when we're doing these book funnels or these book promotions, make sure I'll send you the form to fill out so we can get you on the next one, which is in September. So I've been doing these book funnels, and what's been happening was some of the things that I've been noticing. It's very similar to the Author I Rise. The problem is that I wasn't getting the reaction that I would get from normally the authors. I was getting, some would just dump their book and then expected you to promote. Some of them, there was a lot of ladies out there who would spend time reading each book or reading whatever they could, and then they would do a review, which is that's awesome. Some have gone to buying books and then feeling resonated with certain books and buying them. And the book funnel was great. I thought it was great because I thought it was a good way to get the artists out there, all these indie authors out there, and so they can be all, and then put them on the obviously depository, a library of some sort where they can go and see it, which that still exists on the Positive Pen store, and it will still be up there. But as I was doing the June, I started to feel like it wasn't doing the right thing, and I was talking to a couple other people, and they were talking about just promoting one book at a time and getting it out there and making everybody, to do that. What would you action?
You're back.
Yeah, sorry, I lost connection. Let me ask you this question: Is these book funnels, like what would you recommend, Emma? If I had to change it up, what would be recommended?
I think starting to focus on a limited number of books for more of the push, but I think having availability for people to see what's out there in the funnel and then maybe do them in waves. Oh, hello.
Hi, Linda. You're back.
Intervention.
There you go.
I was lost.
So we lost Linda for a while, and
I even sent
she
you
finally
an email.
came back.
I don't ask how it happened. I can't even answer. Something glitchy is just weird.
Okay. But Emma was just finishing off about the book funnel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so waves is to circulate these things one at a time to stay on top of them and give them the attention they deserve before we move on to the next one. And maybe not quarterly, but maybe weekly or something like that. And people they don't have to read every book every week. They just pick up which genres and things seem, of interest to them, because there's going to be, a few people that like particular genres, and that'll break down over time.
So you're thinking one book at a time promoting it?
Having them all out there, but one book at a time for focus. Yeah,
Focus.
because I think the issue is if you try and promote everything all at the same time, it diffuses the effort too much. People only have so much time and so much bandwidth to be able to, which I guess is a new word that's entered our lexicon over the last 20 years, isn't it? But so much bandwidth to focus their efforts and time on
Yeah.
at any one time. You know, unless you break it down by genre and say, look, you know, all the people that like Gothic, this is the Gothic entry. All the people that are interested in inspiration, this is the inspirational offering, and do it that way. Because that would also work because it focuses the effort, but at a more granular level.
What do you think, Nat?
I think I agree with Emma that it really should be focused one at a time. But I do like the genre idea because I mean they're just like I'm thinking about it like if I was a beta reader, um I would want to read something that's interesting to me that I really can relate to and give authentic feedback. And if there was, you know, to your point, like if you were promoting multiple and I got, stuck with one that I had no interest in, I don't feel like that's an enjoyable experience. So I do like focusing on one at a time. And I think you brought together a number of people, and we all have different interests. So based on whatever it was you were promoting at any given time, I think you could find like target readers and beta readers to I guess test that specific genre or that novel. But when it's a lot being promoted at once, it gets to be overwhelming. But I have looked at what you've done, and I do like that when you click on the site, and well, you said you took it down, but
No, the site's
there,
still up. The library's still up.
okay.
I haven't
I
taken it
do
down.
like that.
Yeah. Oh, you
I
do?
like that you could go there, and it's almost like so curated, right? It's like a curated section, and I think it's intimate. I like that because you're not just going on Amazon and saying like, what do I read? Or you're not just looking at New York Times bestseller, and what you're doing, it's great because we're promoting each other, and a lot of us know each other on the platform. And so I like that. But I like the fact that, if I'm, like I like rom-com books, and I can go and I can find one on your site. And maybe I'm not into historical genre or historical fiction, and I may not be interested, but at least I know that if I want to read in my category, I can go on your site and I could pick someone, and it's someone that I'm genuinely helping. Because at the end of the day, I mean, how great is that? If you're going to spend your money, you're going to write a review, like why not do it with a connection? Like I would, you know, I think that to me is where the beauty of this is, because you're not just, think about it. Like we talk a lot about the Substack bestsellers. And so this is no different than, you're going to buy a product from the person with the 50,000 subscribers, and they don't really, I'm not going to say they don't care about you, but there's no connection there, right? So they're going to put something out on Substack, um, how to make $10,000 in a week, and you're going to buy it. But would you rather not support your friend or somebody that you've connected with who genuinely has something that could be of value to you, but they're just not able to get the reach? So I think in the sense of being an author, having a book, if you're, I mean, to Patricia's point, that's great that she made Amazon number one. But John, that could perhaps not be you, but now I know you, and I know that if I'm going to buy a book, I'm going to go look to see what you have out there. So I love it. I love the concept.
Yeah. So Linda, sorry for the interruption. I did call India and that didn't work out. I'm sorry for tech support. I'm sorry.
I was here. I was listening to you throughout the whole.
Okay.
I was able to see and hear you, but I
Yeah.
couldn't figure out this safari thing, but I don't even know how this happened right now.
That's good. Well, I'm happy you're here. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
So we were talking about book funnel, and I know you have a book yourself.
Yes.
And we talked about publishing and all that kind of stuff. But one of
Yes.
the things we're talking about is obviously publishing and not publishing, self promoting your book and getting
Yes.
things going. Like these book funnels, I'm sure if you've been following them. How do you feel about them? What do you think about them?
I'm not sure. You know, so many of them seem to be very encouraging um, for a price, of course. But I don't know if that's really the personal nitty gritty of sales. I mean, I don't know if I'm fortunate yet, but I met somebody out of nowhere. I changed plans, and he said when I just said I have a book out, he said I can get a press release for you for free. When he said that to me, he said just give me some details, which I did quickly, and we'll see what happens. It's like out of nowhere. It's like serendipity or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes just stuff like that happens, or you meet it can be one person that can change your life, and your book can go zoom way out, way out, way farther than you think. I don't know. All I know is that I channeled my book, most of it, through automatic writing. I am a psychometrist and a clairvoyant. I've had this manuscript in storage for 37 years, and a friend of mine wanted to read it. I said, "Oh, it needs a lot of editing. It's oh my God, there's so many words." I didn't know what else to say to her. She said, after she read it, it's spiritually significant. Do something with it. All I can tell you is that little encouragement got me for a whole year to go through this manuscript. My lights were blinking, weird things were happening because I channeled a late comedian, Lenny Bruce. Through, you're going to say, well, how did you do that? I lived on the same street as his daughter, and I happened to stay home on a payday. I don't even remember why. And I happened to walk by her building, and I stood there frozen, and I see the porter or super. And I said, "What's going on here?" He said, "They're throwing out this woman's stuff, this woman Kitty." So I said, "Please don't throw anything out. Let me please come up and look." And anyway, I had it in my had a his memorabilia in my apartment for 2 weeks before I was able to get the items back to the daughter. And soon after that happened, my pen started going. And I mean, I was open to this stuff, but I didn't know that I was going to channel this guy. So I said, "Oh, let me just do it." So for a year, because I was writing every night, and I did it by date at first. And the writing was like so many words. And he kept saying, um, what was that word? He kept saying, synopsis, not synopsis. Oh, it starts with an S. I might think of it. He kept saying this one word so much, and I knew it wasn't me. I said, "This is way out," and I put it away. And I told the daughter, I let her know. I said, "Look, I'll send you this original." Um, and before I knew it, the year was up, and I had a book out. We changed the title because, as far as endorsing, she wanted me not to endorse his name. So we changed the title, meaning we channeled, changed the title. Let me just show you it here. Because I didn't know I was going to get on. I had it out. This whole bizarre situation that what's meant to be will be. But here's the book. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you? All right. Hypocrisy versus mysticism, wisdom, and morality. I really wish I could have said mostly by Lenny Bruce, but I didn't have that endorsement to do that.
Yeah.
And but I was able to publish. thank goodness I was able to do that. Because I don't know the laws enough to know to go against them, but other people have been endorsing my book. Other people have put my book somewhere else. I can't control the endorsement. When something gets out, word of mouth or whatever, somebody mentioned word of mouth before. I don't know what is going to happen. All I know is I finished it. I did what I was supposed to do. He wanted a book. We knew each other in past lives. If anyone's open to parapsychology, paranormal, I never met this guy in my life, in this life, in his past life. So I knew that what I channeled was not me. And even like part of the book, I say, readers should know. The beginning is my divine intervention, my experiences that I remembered because a friend said, Linda, why don't you put some of your stories? I said, sure. And I wrote about my psychometry, where I had shows and how people responded. And all I know is it all came together in this book. And the back of mine isn't the typical back. It's hypocrisy wears its evil veil.
That's cute. That's awesome. You got
And
that out.
whatever's
That's
gonna happen is gonna happen. I've I've advertised everywhere on all social media. I'm with the publisher Book Baby. I don't know if some of you might know Book Baby. Yes or no? Maybe they're pretty well known. And I just I'm completely naive in the whole situation about promotion. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I know you were talking about, getting people like email lists and whatever. I tried doing that. Uh, I mean, finding your genre. The skeptics, I had a few skeptics, and I'm sure there are more. But I just knew to do it. And whatever happens, happens. And I met you guys. Um, any questions you want to ask?
well. Thank you. That was. I mean, I know it was. You just came back on, so I
For a
appreciate you.
reason.
Yeah, for a
So
reason. That's
somebody
awesome.
got me on here, and I don't know how because every time I came close, it said copy. This word copy, and all of a sudden it bounced right in. That's
Yeah,
why I was
there
like,
you
"Must
go.
be it."
There you go. Hey,
So
Patricia. Oh,
yes, go ahead.
so thank. So, Patricia, what's you're gonna hire that person to come back in? Is that your goal now? Is that the next phase?
I don't think I can do that. I don't know. I'm kind of moved on to other places and more things, but I'm still looking for the right um, people or organization to support and um, yeah, support it.
Um, what's your next thing there, Nate? What do you plan on what do you plan on doing next?
To me, Nat, you said.
Hello? Yeah, Nat.
To
Oh,
to
Nate.
me,
I'm sorry, Nat. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
uh,
wait.
hey, by the way, I
uh,
do have to leave at
My
6. So
apologies. You're now
yeah,
Nate, by the way.
I'm Nate. Yeah, my alter ego. Just marketing, just moving forward with my app, which is geared towards midlife reset and marketing my products. So I'm not really looking to publish a book yet, but hopefully one day I will get to the one that I have in draft. And I just can't focus on too many things at once, but I'll continue. Short goal is to just write more on Substack, try to get like a weekly post out like I used to, and just see where that takes me.
Emma?
I will be publishing a new book, Cornflower Blue, in probably 3 months. I've got to go through the review process and get some reviews back for it. I'm going to do it right this time. And I'm also working on publishing a book for another author. So
Oh,
that's a gothic fantasy book
have
that I'll
fun.
be doing, probably dropping in October, I think.
Oh,
Gotcha.
So
That's
I'm
awesome.
just waiting for the manuscript to be finalized. Actually, I've got to edit it tomorrow. So,
Oh,
Don't be your own editor only, please.
no, I'm
I
not.
learned.
Yep.
Because you can read it 50 times and then all of a sudden you'll find the comma that wasn't there or a word, the extra word. You cannot, I'm telling you, it takes a real trained eye to be an editor. Like, learn that.
well, Linda, what's next on your plate?
What's next on my plate? I'm going to see what happens with this press release and take it from there. I'd like to do more shows around psychometry and also back to acting and all that to keep my mind versatile, and not worry about how many books or people are going to buy, um, and take it. It's just something that um, I'm open. Let's put it this way: I'm open.
That's awesome.
And
It's
if
good
I
to be open.
and meeting people, when I meet people and I tell them they're open to my genre, I tell them about the book. And a good thing to tell people is they like your book to review it on Amazon and Goodreads. Goodreads is very important too.
Good.
And I like the words are if you like it, because you don't want somebody to put if you the least amount of negative reviews, because nobody gets perfect. I'll tell you that.
Right.
Anyone who knows that. And keep your mind on other things you like to do. Don't be too caught up in worrying about what's going to happen.
Right.
And tell as many people as possible. Get on all the book groups. That's what I've done on Facebook. I'm on practically every book group I can think of, plus paranormal book groups. That's a good way to spread your advertising freely on Facebook.
I agree.
LinkedIn, Reddit, I mean, all these other, um, X. um, it's a very nice, there's some very nice ads from some of the people who did some ads on my book. Um, if you can have a little trailer, that's nice too. A nice ad
Right.
that's striking. And your cover, if you haven't done your book, remember your cover is very big deal.
Right. I agree. Well, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. And it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I know we're all been here for a bit. And I want to say thank you to everybody that showed up today on the podcast. This is really the first, well, it's actually a second round table that I created, but this is the first one I've tried to put more people on there. We're going to see if we can do this again. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see about that. When it comes to the book funnel, September is out. You can, on my notes, you'll see someone you can put your book in there and ask you to fill the information out. The reason for that is I need it for promoting your book, and it helps get your book to other people and so forth. Second thing is, if you go into my chat, you're going to see it in there as well. There's a place where you can see the form and do that. And it's not a Google form, it's actual another form. So that's good. And so we got Memorial, we got not Memorial, we got 4th of July coming up. So I hope I hope everybody have a wonderful 4th of July. I hope everybody's going to be happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Celebrating 250. Big 250. That's huge.
Big 250.
And I want to thank all my guests that showed up today. Thank you, every single one of you. I appreciate
And
your
thank
time.
you, John, for doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad I made it back for something, but I was watching even though I couldn't get on.
Right. And thank you for all the audience here. And next week we'll be on Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll see you then.
To make it. Okay. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.